Hi, hello. My name is Jose Martínez-Fonseca. I'm a biologist from Nicaragua. I'm a postdoc at Northern Arizona University, and I mostly study how human-driven disturbances in the landscape affect bat species and communities. Today, I want to talk about a paper that kind of led me into this kind of work, and which I think is a very nice and simple paper that can have impacts in many conservation strategies. The title of our paper is Bats Uses Live Fences to Move Between Dry Forest Remnants. And this was published in 2020, thanks to the help of my co-authors, Marlon Chavez, Kimberly Williams-Guillen, and Carol Chambers. As we know, linear features in the landscape benefit wildlife. This could be rivers or forests along the rivers, the canals, dry creeks, roads, etc. And they all can provide shelter and facilitate mobility for animals. These benefits have been proven in several taxa, including some bats, but how big those features need to be and are the small ones like good enough are still questions that we have to answer. In 2017 in Nicaragua, we tried to answer if bats were using really small linear features like live fences or live fence rows, as we call them. These are single lines of trees that serve as posts to delimit crops or pastures, just like any regular fences. Some farmers use them because they don't need to be replaced that often because there are live trees instead of posts that can rot them, or just because they have double purposes. So those trees can be used for food as fruit trees, or it can be used for to feed the cows during the dry season, or even timber. So for this experiment, we found areas of forest that were separated by some pastures, but that had fences connecting those two patches. One of the fences had to have trees, and the other one did not have them. So that was going to be our control. We compared the bad use of those live fences against the dead ones, or the traditional ones. And the way we did this was just to place in mesh nets on both. We capture bats on each pair of fences in 27 different sites, and what we found, it was very surprising. The bats were not just only using the live fences with the trees, but also the regular fences as corridors. However, the ones with trees not only had almost the triple the amount of traffic or bats going back and forth, but also much higher diversity. So well, it was more than double. But most of the bats were Carolias and Artivius, short-tails and fruit-eating bats. But we know those two genus are known to handle high levels of human disturbances in the environment. But we were really curious about the bats in the subfamily Philostomine, the forest specialist. Only one species, Lophostoma brasiliensis, was captured, and it was only one individual. Finding that, we wondered, like, for how many other species structures like this can offer benefits. And I would like to take the opportunity to invite you to replicate this experiment in other areas. And I will not only be interested to know about the species using it, but to understand what are the limits of these benefits. We know, thanks to studies in Europe, that even a 6-meter gap in a linear feature can impede the transit of bats. So I know that in respect to this, we know very little about the species in the tropics worldwide. Thank you very much for watching this. I will link the paper in the description, and don't hesitate to reach out if you want to just talk about these topics or something else. And happy holidays.